Two-Face, issue 3, Christian Ward writing with Fabio Veras on the art. So, yeah, this has been doing some interesting stuff, and we're seeing a bit more inside Two-Face's head, although not as much as last issue, because I feel like there was a lot of stuff last issue with that. This issue revolves around the fact that someone has stolen the dummy from the ventriloquist Scarface, right? Someone's taken that. And that's what Harvey and was it Lake as his kind of new assistant? They're looking into that and trying to figure out what to do and trying like who's behind this, who's this shadow man who's orchestrating all these things with the villains and try to break things down. So we get a little bit more of Lake in this issue where we see that she's able to talk down this woman at the bar and kind of like stop it from getting violent, and gets her to sort of reveal, and it ends up being this old TV star, this woman who has that I'll call it the orphan disease, where she stays looking like a kid even though she's older. And she used to be in a successful sitcom playing a kid, but it dried up, then she couldn't get work, and for some reason she has now kidnapped Scarface. And when her characters find her, when Two-Face and Lake find her, she's like seems to want to use Scarface as a romantic partner. She's like, hey, we're a family now. He's mine. I'm in love with him, kind of thing. When Two-Face shows up, she cries out, "Oh, they're killing the romantic mood." So very strange. So yeah.
Are you familiar with Baby Doll at all?
I don't think I am.
The first time?
I don't know if I've seen Baby Doll in anything before.
So Baby Doll came from the animated series. I feel like this might be her first appearance in comics.
Well, I probably did see her because I've seen all the animated series. I just don't remember her.
Yeah. So, so that's where originally she comes from, which I thought this was a fun way to introduce.
Yeah, she's got like an assistant lady who's like helping her, and Miss Dahl jumps in and tries to fight Two-Face just shoots her though, to be fair. But she tries to jump in with a big fly kick, which is fun. And Two-Face grabs Baby Doll and like makes her cry, and demanding answers, like who's behind all this. And it ends up being this other guy shows up, right? So is this guy's name Matchmaker?
No, it's Doubt.
It's Doubt. That's right.
So he was saying he was playing Matchmaker.
That's
so
right.
He's
That's
the
right.
reason.
Yeah, because his power is that if he says you doubt something, it means you will doubt it. So he can kind of make you do something based on how he phrases it. So I doubt that you are brave right now, so you'll get scared. That kind of thing. So he basically comes in and reveals that he used his power on the ventriloquist to get the dummy. He used his power on the bartender lady they got information of to like, give these secrets out. So basically he's revealing that he lured them here, that this was all designed to get them here. And the big thing here is that, well, one, he uses his power on Harvey to try and bring out Two-Face, to bring out the other persona. And we see inside Two-Face's mind that Two-Face is like seeing this door appear and he's like, oh, this is my chance, I can get out. And he's going for it. But Lake ends up hitting Doubt over the head. And inside Harvey's mind, you see like the big kind of like cloaked blood cell, as Two-Face calls her, grabs him and stops him from getting out. But the big reveal here, though, is that when he demands to know who's behind all this, what villain is calling these shots and like taking apart all the crime, the crime system in Gotham and causing chaos and working against what he's doing with his court. And the big reveal is that it is Two-Face. That at nighttime, Two-Face is the one orchestrating this and giving orders to people like him and the other villains that have been causing trouble to bring back the city. And that he's living in denial that he's keeping Two-Face down. So that's the big reveal at the end of this issue. The final panel is you see kind of a representation of Two-Face in his mind. Not the one that's full Two-Face, like the full, or one face, I guess, but the one that still looks like Two-Face. And he's like drowning in the sand, and the last panel's like his hand like going under, like he's getting buried alive. So
here's my thing with this though. We know that Bad Two-Face is locked up in his mind, and we know that it didn't come out. So this, like, unless this were plans that were put out there by Two-Face,
It doesn't sound like it, because it sounds like, no, at nighttime he's giving out orders.
Right, but that doesn't gel with what Two-Face is saying in the inner monologue, right? If he can just get out, he feels like he's been locked up a minute.
That is true. However, the opening scene of this book, though, in his mind, is a character that looks like Two-Face with both sides, saying you look, or making his way to the main prison that the full scarred face is in. And there's a full Harvey with a full normal face saying you look exhausted. And he's like, it looks close, but the closer you get, the further away it is. And it's almost like it's kind of suggesting here that we're dealing with more personalities, that there's more going on here. And whoever the Harvey is that's been in control up top isn't even the original Harvey Dent. And whatever personalities the new Two-Face isn't even the original Two-Face personality. At least that's the implication I'm getting from what it's saying here, based on this opening scene and then what it reveals later on. So, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions here that I got, because I feel like someone's playing Harvey. That's the original take that I took from this, right? Because he's in that jail and he wants to get out. So I feel like if at night he's getting out and doing it, it's not this version that we're seeing. It's not the full scarred face, right?
I think it's one of these two at the start. I think because this is like, because he wakes up, right? Because at the end of that page is someone saying "wake up, Harvey," and he wakes up. So maybe there is an argument that one of these two is the Harvey that seems to be in control most of the time. And he's talking with one of his inner personalities before he wakes up. Given that at the end we see the one that's like, looks like Two-Face with the two different sides drowning in the sand, it does make me think that the full face one is the one that's awake for the rest of the issue. He's the one that's in control. But that means then, who is this one that's drowning in the sand if the full Two-Face one, or the full Scarface, is in the prison? Because this one isn't in the prison. He's kind of wandering aimlessly outside in the desert around the prison.
Right. So,
I don't know what to make of that yet. I feel like maybe as we get more of it, it'll be easier to kind of like say what's happening here and what parts of his personalities and psyche are all coming together. But at the very least, it kind of implies that there's a third entity. Like, there's like a full Harvey, a full scarred face, which is what typically the Two-Face persona is, but it's almost suggesting that there's a third persona where they've mixed, where there's kind of like almost like the real person now is a mix of both, and that's always who the true person was, or something like that.
Yeah, it makes me wonder too that if this is Harvey struggling for relevance, right? Because he wants to be that lawyer, but he knows he's done most of his quote greatness as Two-Face, not as the lawyer, right? He's had much more relevance as the criminal lord. Is
there an argument to be said, though, that maybe this other personality that's like constructing all of this chaos at night is doing it because it's giving the good Harvey something to fix?
That's what I was going to get at. That he's creating the problem so now he can solve them.
Yeah, which is interesting in and of itself, if that's what's going on here.
So a lot of good stuff though, because again, I don't know what to make of that. Like, I thought we had it figured out. I thought we had this group that was working against him, but if he's running the group that's running against him, it's just, he deserves to be an Arkham.
That's point number one. Absolutely. No, I think obviously he's the perfect character to pull this twist on, because he's dealing with multiple personalities. So it's like, hey, you are the one who's doing all this. Is interesting. So, and I think all the stuff with Baby Doll was fun and like an interesting little, not adventure, but just an interesting like path to go down. Especially since the ventriloquist is also a character who's dealing with multiple personalities, right? Because it's basically, the dummy's not alive. It's not a supernatural dummy. The whole idea is that the ventriloquist himself has two personalities, and one of them's coming out through the doll or the dummy. So having him here in a Two-Face story is not an accident. It's a parallel in some ways. So. Yeah.
Or they're almost two sides of a coin, right? Because they're very, very similar. And it's just that Wesker's not scarred, right? And that's also the character's name is Scarface, which is also Two-Face, So
has other personalities disfigured in some way. I get where you're going with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it shows that they're not that different. And so if this was, him recovering that aspect of himself, right? because he had to go and get Scarface. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on here, man, and I can't wait to see where Ward takes it.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at Scarface, it's a little bit different personality-wise to Two-Face, because Two-Face is like, okay, you've got the lawyer who had the anger issues, and Two-Face, the personality there is like the full anger one, right? The one where the rage takes over, and Harvey's the good guy who wants to do the right thing. With the ventriloquist, it's more like weak in strength, whereas like, the ventriloquist is this meek man who thinks he's getting bossed around, and then the other personality is the one who's taking command, is controlling, who's giving them the orders, ordering other people. So it's almost like he created a personality where he is brave, where he's strong, where he's got the power kind of thing.
But it's not, but he can't take that, so that it's not him, right? He has to be told what to do still.
Yes.
By himself.
From his other personality.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so it's just all of this stuff at play here. And I like the fact that, I don't know if you skipped over, because I was looking at baby doll stuff, that Lake's able to disarm Doubt, right? To hit him, because she turns off her hearing aids.
Yes, I did skip over that. You're right. That's a really good detail, actually, is that she just took out her hearing aids so she couldn't hear him. Yeah, that was good.
And so he can't hear the Doubt part of it. She saves Harvey there. So, but yeah, art's great too. Like we said, all of the stuff in that inner prison, right? The stuff that it does with the colors, and the white blood cell, if you will. He refers to it as a she. So I'm wondering if this is like his sense of justice or something, like the statue.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Right.
That could be.
Because that was a tell too that shows up, and it's that sense of justice that keeps bad Harvey locked away. That's what stops it, right? So, but yeah, man, a lot of good stuff here. I'm glad I get to talk about Poison Ivy and Two-Face, two of my favorite Bat characters, on the same week.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting story for sure. I'm really excited to see where he's going with it. This issue definitely left off with more questions, I feel. But I'm excited to see where we go. So it does feel like next issue will be very different, because this idea has been introduced that he's doing this stuff, and he may have to question, wait, but I've got Two-Face locked up in my mind. And maybe the realization that there's a third personality of some kind, maybe a mix of both.
Right. Or he needs to embrace that side of himself from time to time, right? You can't keep that part of locked you, because that's part of you, right? Whether you like it or not. It's kind of like when you get talking about stuff like in therapy and all this other stuff, there is a shadow self, right? That's a part of you that you don't necessarily like, but you have to acknowledge that it's there. You can't just keep running from it. And if this is him running from his shadow self, it's him creating problems for himself to fix. And by returning bad Harvey to that, he's finding balance. Does that make sense?
Not really. I think what you were getting at, allow me to clean it up.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is that by locking away bad Harvey, this other worse entity is starting to take control, and he's only at full strength if he embraces the bad Harvey as part of himself. Because only together they can take down whatever this other entity is. I think that's where you were trying to go with that.
Yeah, along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What are you giving Two-Face?
I'm giving it 8.5.
I'm gonna go straight 8, but it's very good. It's very good. Yes, it's getting me more invested with each passing issue.